Lydia is with me today and I'm gonna show you guys her bridal hair. This has been the bridal look this year. We've been doing so many bridal glam waves. I'm gonna show you exactly how to achieve them, how to get them to stay all day, and all my tips and tricks, so stay tuned. We're gonna begin by putting in her clip-in extensions. These are just the BFB extensions. We ordered them in her hair color and then we kind of matched her hair to them when she highlighted it, so they match really well. So we're just gonna begin by putting these in. You're gonna create a really clean line at the nape of her neck, about 1.5 inches off of her hairline. I'm just gonna tease the root of her hair a tiny bit. I put a little bit of a root boosting powder into it so that these extensions will hold all day comfortably. You don't want them slipping at all, so creating a little base really does help. And then I'm just gonna clip each of them in. And on Lydia's wedding day, I did cut these to the length of her hair so that it would be a really perfect, seamless look and no one would even notice that she had the clip-ins in. Okay, we have all of her hair in, so now we're just gonna begin by curling it. The first thing I'm gonna do is start at the lowest part, so the nape of her neck, and I clip away this, and then I'm going to prep her hair with a thermal styling spray. This is the Kenra thermal styling spray, the firm hold heat activated spray. This is my personal favorite. It holds the curl so well and it really makes those curls stay in place, especially for this type of style. You're wanting them to kind of flow together and mold into each other, and so this really helps them achieve that look. I'm gonna be using a 1-inch curling iron for this look. This is again, my personal favorite, what I always do for this particular style. It does seem like a smaller curl at the start, but because you're molding them together, it's gonna get bigger and looser, and this is gonna hold the best. I'm gonna begin by prepping the hair, seasoning it with my iron, activating that heat spray that I put on it, and then I'm gonna curl it away from her face, starting in the center and going down. And then I'm gonna roll it up to the top. And I'm gonna get that hair all the way into the curling iron, so you can see, so that I can get a perfect ringlet curl. You're gonna want all of your curls to be ringlets so that when you mold them together, they stay in place. And then I usually will let it cool just a little bit in my hand so that I'll get the longest lasting curl. And then because she's gonna be wearing half of it towards the front, I'm going to curl everything in the back the same direction, going towards the left. And then when we get to the side that's gonna be up front, we'll curl it back. That way this will stay up front, but everything in the back will be a uniform wave. Don't be afraid to hold that hair on your curling iron, get it nice and hot. You wanna make sure it's heated all the way through. And I have my curling iron on the highest heat so that it's gonna give me the strongest curl. And when you're using extensions, you also need to be very aware that you have two different hair textures in there. You have your extensions and you have your natural hair texture. So you need to make sure that you're prepping for both of those. Lydia's hair is fine, and so I will be using a couple products that are gonna help her fine hair mold with her extensions and make sure that you're not gonna see separation, and I'll show you what I do for that in just a minute. I'm now gonna be switching to curling towards the right. So changing the direction of my curl pattern. This hair is gonna be in the front, and so we're gonna be curling it away from her face, but it will not meet in the back. All these will still go to the left. Now that we have our first section curled, you wanna make sure you're spraying it with a light hold hairspray. This is the Kenra Dry Oil Control Spray. I'm just gonna spritz it across her curls, and then we'll curl the next section. Again, prepping it with the Kenra Thermal Styling Spray. You're gonna wanna spray this really thoroughly throughout your hair, probably more than you would initially think. I get it all over the hair pretty heavily. And then I'm gonna run my hands across it to make sure it's evenly distributed. And turn this way. I'm gonna make sure I got the sides really well with the activated hairspray. And then we're just going to find where our hair split for the hair that's gonna be up front. I'm gonna go ahead and mimic that split so that we're curling everything the right direction. And then we're again curling. Again, everything is away from the face, trying to create those perfect ringlets. Keep tension on the hair as you're curling. It's gonna be the tightest curls, which is what you're going for. Also be sure to keep your hair flat on the curling iron when you are curling. Make sure you're not twisting it or turning it. I'll show you what I mean by that on the next curl, but you're wanting those hairs to lay flat across the iron so that when you take it out, it is a uniform curl. So pulling the hair flat on the iron and making sure it's going flat as you twist your hair through. I'm now gonna tease her hair to create extra volume. So I'm gonna come right here, turn for me, Lydia, right behind her ear on both sides. And we are going to tease just a little bit to give her some extra volume. When I do this, I like to use a root boosting powder. So I'm gonna spray some of that powder in there. And then I'm gonna back comb it. And I'm gonna do that 2 or 3 times to give her the amount of volume that I want to see in the crown area. I'm doing this before I curl her hair because with this specific type of curl, I'm going to be curling them and then setting them into place. And so teasing beforehand is helpful not to disturb the curl. Then I'm gonna have her look up and I'm just gonna smooth it out really well so that it just looks like natural volume and you can't see any of that underneath. I'm just continuing to curl the rest of her hair the same way that I have all the way through, curling all the way to the end, keeping really nice tension to get a really uniform, perfect ringlet. This has been one of the most done bridal hair styles this entire year. I feel like we have constantly been doing this gorgeous bridal wave. So this has been a highly requested video and we're sharing all of our tips with you on how to make it last all day. I'm gonna show you how to mold it together. So make sure you keep watching till the end because molding it together, in my opinion, is the most important part of this whole video because that's what's gonna make your curls have that perfect uniform wave through the whole day. When I get to this front section, we're gonna be creating a little bit of extra volume right here. So I'm gonna come in with my curling iron, I'm gonna split it into 2. She already has a really nice natural cowlick, but if someone does not have this, you're gonna wanna create it with your curling iron, which means you're gonna pull it off base. So I have it parted in the middle. I'm gonna pull it the opposite way. I'm gonna put my curling iron in there. I'm just gonna create a little fold. Look up. And as you can see, it gives you a little extra volume right here. I'm gonna do that to both of these pieces. You can pin this up. For Lydia, I am not going to because she already has a really natural cowlick. But with most brides, I would pin it and set it on base. So I would curl it like this on base, pull it off the curl, and pin it into place. But for her, we're not gonna do that because she doesn't necessarily need it. And she wants more of a natural volume up front. So we're just gonna give her a little swoop and then we're gonna again curl it away from her face. And the same thing with this one. But I'm gonna let them kind of sit there for a second. We're gonna spray them with our light hold hairspray. And then we're gonna start molding these curls together. Turn back around for me. I'm gonna lightly spray those curls. And then we're gonna go in with a wide tooth comb. I like this one because you have the smaller pick and then the larger. We're gonna start in the back. I'm just gonna start molding it together from the bottom. I'm gonna use my hands, my comb, to start creating that uniform wave. And you'll kind of see them start coming together a little bit right here. When they do, you're gonna start wanting to encourage that. So when you see that, put your hand in and start helping them continue to do so. And then we're gonna start in the midsection. Be careful not to pull the extensions too hard if they do have clip-ins. I'm holding right here to keep it secure. I'm also keeping that curl pattern as I brush through and start to create it down lower. As you can see, those really tight ringlets start to turn into these really beautiful, soft glam waves. And you're just gonna mold them together with each other. And as you can see, I've separated the hair right here because all of that hair is gonna be in the front. So we're just gonna be putting this together. I have my 3 waves currently. And I'm gonna kind of bring this side into it. When you curl the hair really well in the right way, it makes it so easy to get these to go together and create that uniform look. So make sure you're not being sloppy with your curls when you're doing this style. Okay, you can see right here she has some fine hair. So we're gonna start molding that together. First thing I'm gonna do is put a serum on her hair. We're gonna use the Crybaby IGK 72-hour frizz control serum. Usually just use about 2 squirts. I usually use about 2 squirts, and I'm gonna start putting that through her hair and taming any frizz that she might naturally have. It's also gonna help melt any flyaways down into the rest of her hair and add a little bit of pretty shine. Going back in with my pick. Now we're gonna start setting it with the hairspray. You're gonna wanna use a light hold hairspray to begin with, a working spray, because you'll wanna be able to still brush through it lightly. I'm actually gonna recurl this one piece. I need it to go the opposite way. I was gonna put it forward, but we're gonna add it into this because it's laying really nicely with it. Let it cool, and then we're gonna brush it down into the rest of our hair. And it lays really nicely. Taking my light hold hairspray, and we're just gonna begin smoothing and molding it together. I already have most of this created into the pattern I want it. So we're just reinforcing that now. As you can see, when I'm doing this, I'm pushing them up and together to create even more of a wave. And then on to our last one. Now for the front, I'm gonna have her turn around. We're gonna do the same thing, just creating that curl pattern and molding them together. In the front, you're gonna use mostly the underneath of the hair. So you'll use the first part, the little swoop, and then you're gonna show the underneath mostly. So you'll flip it and you'll create the curl pattern with this part of the hair. Smoothing it first, and then setting it with your light hold hairspray. And then we will set it with a high hold hairspray. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it was helpful. If you are doing your own glam waves or getting married soon, be sure to try it out. It is such a gorgeous wedding look and is so timeless.